कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. You know, with this background of the Ukrainian, well, let's call it war, the bullying that's going on that side of the border, the disparity in income in our part of the world with the inflation going through the roof and the rich still surviving, the poor dying in front of us, and us just walking over their dead bodies because that's par for the course. While all this is going on, I have to deal with a big issue. People telling me you wear the same shirt again and again. I want to just put it on record once and for all so people understand that I don't wear the same shirt. I have many shirts which are the same. For example, I have 2 of these white t-shirts. I have about 5 of the blue and white t-shirts, which I wear a lot of. And I have 4 of the red rugby shirts, which my friend Neil White has given me. They're the same shirt, but there are 4 of them. It's like having twins or triplets or quadruplets when you aren't able to have, children the old-fashioned way because of poor sperm count, because of sitting on your desk and doing podcasts day after day and not being allowed to have a life. These things happen. So you end up taking those things which give you too much sperm, and then suddenly you have 17 children, of which you only want 3. It's very similar to that. So I just have lots of shirts. They're the same shirts, but they're not that I wear the same shirt again and again, unlike Superman and Batman, who don't even bloody change their capes. Now, let's introduce some of the most interesting people the world has ever seen. I haven't actually heard from them for a long time, but these are iconic figures, super iconic figures. And before I do that, a formal welcome to Cyrus Says, brought to you by Jupiter, a banking app that helps you master your money. And here they are, arguably the highest paid radio jockeys of all time. Tamana herself is now a real estate developer on the side because of all the money she's made. 16 buildings in Lokhandwala, all the way stretching down to Parel. Behind me is my young son. He's off to lift some weights. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is the world we live in. Young people get to do that and old people have to watch. Also, Jaggu is in fact live from Dubai, I think. Am I right? He can't hear.
Namaskar, Cyrus, you sex symbol. Yes, I'm live from Dubai.
I think he's talking to you, Tamanna, because no one's in their right mind is going to use that phrase.
There
with
is no
me.
tamanna over here, Cyrus.
What did I say? Tarana. What did I say?
Hanji,
Tamanna?
thank you.
I'm so sorry. This is an age
Your
thing.
entire
Please.
team is confused. I'm either Tara, Sitara, or Tamanna today.
Oh
What
my
is this
God.
behavior?
So we've all got, see, dementia is catchy. People don't understand. You just touch people.
I
They
want to
also
call
get
you
dementia.
Marzi or
You call
any
me
other
what do you
Parsi
want?
name that comes. Baman.
Why don't you just go with the name I like to be called, Mr. Ya, Mr. Chu
No,
Ya,
Mr. Ya is lovely.
Mr. Chu Ya
Mr. Ya
is the
and
full
Mr.
name.
Ja with
Yeah.
this star.
So I'll be Mr. Ya, you be Tamanna, and that
Yeah.
leaves us with Jaga.
Jagga.
Jaga.
Jagga is a good
Correct.
one.
Let's ask him first. Where is he? I was
You know,
give a clear answer.
I have multiple iterations. I have Jagga, Jaggu, Jaggu Delicious, Jagya, Jagster, all of that. Nobody calls me Jagger. Nobody calls me Jagger. I want to be Mick Jagger's pet, and nobody. That's the one iteration of my pet name nobody uses. Cyrus, I need you to change that.
What about Big Jugs?
That would be very appropriate. Big Jugs
Why an awkward pause there? What's wrong with Big Jugs?
He's conveniently
no
not
idea
able to
what you
listen to you
said.
right now.
No,
Big
he can't
Jugs.
hear us. Let's just abuse him
Big
for
Jugs,
5
yes,
minutes.
yes. I do Big Jugs. If we get to the point where I feel comfortable enough, I'll take off my t-shirt also.
No, thank you,
Aha,
Jaggu. No.
false advertising, Jaggu. Listen,
Yeah.
this audience is used to some standard of jugs. Be careful. Having said that, let's move on to something more less profane.
There's only one way to find.
No.
We will reveal all by the end of the episode. But in the meantime, let's go right to we have to go to the beginning. Before we go to the beginning, let's just start where we are. So now this iconic pairing, y'all are still doing the show from 2 different countries. What's going on? Because
No,
I can see
we are currently in 2 different countries because we're trying to tempt Jaggu into coming back into Mumbai city.
but the police have given a red corner notice. What's the issue
There
exactly?
there is a little bit of an issue, which is why it's taking longer for him.
Right. But I
Yeah.
can't believe it's
No, but
a
I'll get there.
child ring. I mean, that's just ridiculous to think that someone like Jaggu, how did he get caught in that? Unbelievable. But there's some supremely gifted lawyers that I have certain friendships with who I'm going to let them get in touch with you, Mr. Big Jug, and we'll sort that out. So you're permanently in Dubai. Let's just understand here.
I am permanently in Dubai till about next month, after which I will be back. The move is being
Permanently.
plotted.
Okay. So you rehoused to Dubai. You will now rehouse again back to Mumbai, right?
Yes.
I think
And
the
I leave
heat
my
has
house in
gotten
Dubai,
to
I will
him.
come back to.
Too hot. Bus. It took 9 years to realize
No,
how hot
1
it can
minute.
be, but
Heat
now
is
bus.
one thing. I was in just literally. I've come back a couple of days back, and I'm hearing about heat waves in north where temperature peaking at 49 degrees. That's
Yeah.
Dubai weather. I'm not going to see too much of change.
Yeah, but the lucky thing in Dubai, everything is air conditioned. Parts of the north, let me tell you, they haven't seen an air conditioner. It's a horrible story.
Yeah.
Now, before we go forward, let's go back again for a few people who are perhaps from another generation or completely in coma or crazy and don't know the story. For me, growing up, I can't think of anybody who's bigger than you on radio back in the 90s or 2000s, whenever it was. Let's go back to how the pairing happened, firstly. All right. And then we'll try and reach all the way up to where we are right now. So, the first question is, did you guys know each other when you started the Tarana and Jaggu and Tarana show?
No, we didn't. We didn't. I used to be on in the mornings. Jaggu used to be on in the evenings. And because Jaggu likes the female company,
I
when his co-host went on holiday, he drove me mad and said, Dolly, please come na, hang na. You come and do it.
Who's
I'm like,
Dolly?
Dolly is anybody. You
Oh,
could be Dolly.
he took that liberty and called you Dolly, as in super friendly, over
He takes
familiar
many
style. No, I
He
like
liberties.
his
takes that
style. I like
liberty
his
with a lot
style.
He
of you.
takes
Yeah,
many,
yeah.
many liberties.
And then he disguises it by using it on men as well. So we can't call him out for it.
Yes.
Fabulous. Well done,
Yes.
Jags. Well
That is
done.
a strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
Thank
superb. Yeah.
thank
So I decided to go hang with him and put him out of his misery. And then our bosses sort of overheard us, not overheard us, checked in and said, "Ooh, these two sound fun together. Let's try them together." And that was it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's amazing. I don't know if people understand that sometimes people don't get along also. So you got a lot of pairings, male, female, whatever it is, where they just
yeah,
don't. I mean, they can do 6 months together and they just seem awful. But you guys just hit it off immediately. And that little bit of that is just luck also, because obviously the chemistry was there for
It is
whatever
that.
reason. Um, so now, what is your individual response to each other privately once you finish your first recording? Jaggu, you start. Come on. What did you think
So
of her?
look, it wasn't that, right? For me, it was there wasn't going to be a deep analysis or anything like that. My co-host was on leave. I did someone. Tarana came along very kindly. We did the chatting, and it was just it was meant to be temporary, right? Until co-host came back from leave. So there was no deep analysis. It just seemed like a lovely chat. You're sitting across a table and chatting with a friend, and there was just a great good feel to it. And that happened for a couple of days until the boss said, "Acha, to all of you all on the same show." So there was never a deep analysis. It's always a friend chatting with a friend, and as a matter of fact, that was
But
that. So the element I
but Jaggu,
whenever we say
sorry, but go on. Sorry.
it's like it's not just the two of us. There are three elements on the show. There is Tarana, there is Jaggu, there is the chemistry that Tarana and Jaggu share. And if that wasn't there, like you said, you either get along or you don't get along. If that wasn't there, we wouldn't be doing what we do now.
But one sec, who is that co-host? Because y'all won't take a name for some reason. Just say co-host. Was it a male co-host, by the way?
no, it was. Wasn't it Malini, Jaggu? Miss Malini.
It was Malini. Yeah,
Miss Malini
I
is
had a
now that
couple of
iconic.
hosts in the evening.
Okay,
There was Jack, there was Malini, and my last post in the evening was Malini, and then we moved to the breakfast show, and Malini then started doing her own show.
wow. So what you're saying is Tarana was head and shoulders above the others, obviously, because then you moved time as well just to stay with her for the next 35 years and still going. Don't act like you can't. You're very convenient. This technique. This is what I do with my wife. Whenever you want to get away from controversy, what? You just say what immediately. What? He's a smart boy. He's got
Yeah,
this
yeah, and
Wi-Fi
he
down
got
for
the
the show.
action also. It's that
Yeah,
Hanji
superb.
kya,
Yeah,
what all
yeah.
that.
Everybody,
Hey, thank.
everybody talks slower.
Where are
Listen,
the
and Adam,
subtitles, Cyrus? We thought there were subtitles for us when we come on your show.
don't no, 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 don't be silly. Nobody listens to the show.
Acha.
Our show is now reached a point where people just watch with the mute on, so it's all fine. Okay, let's move on now. So now tell us about how it evolved, how the show went from where it went. What were the early difficulties you had? It was a breakfast show. Is breakfast on radio tougher to do? Morning audience.
No, not audience wise. It's pretty hard waking up at the crack of dawn, and both Jaggu and I are not really morning people. So I mean, like for me, I'm grumpy. I won't say anything until the mic goes on. So nobody at home gets to hear a good morning or a smile or nothing. It's just a till I don't know. Weirdly enough, the mic goes on. So the hardest part was, well, we've done the breakfast show for I think about 16 years. So 16 years of sleep has to
Wow.
be caught up on. Um, that's
But
hard. but it's personally, I find it very challenging because it's really, it's nice to put a smile on people's faces and set the mood for the day, and keep everybody, no matter how they, what mood they wake up in, by the time they've reached wherever they're supposed to or got on with their day, they're supposed to have a smile on their face, and that was what we've always strived to do.
But Rana, let's just think for a second. So then, there's a couple of hacks that you can do. You all would record like half an hour early morning and this and that for safety, right? If I remember
No,
correctly,
no, we didn't.
but it was like 4 hours, right?
It was a 4-hour show. We didn't record, which is why
So
our
the
producer
first,
used to have a heart attack when we both overslept. And at one
right.
point, I had moved into the neighborhood where Jaggu was, and I was in charge of waking up the fatty, uh, re- calling him repeatedly, "Are you awake? Are you awake?" And then he'd be like, "Yeah, relax." And then I'd go pick him up, and he wouldn't be down. And then we would both be late. And our bosses nearly fired us because, like, I don't understand why both of you are late. And then he would like say, "Aajkal ke drivers, so unreliable." I wanted to slap him.
Wow.
I
But
take
that,
I
I don't
take
know.
I take
I
credit
mean,
for Tarana's driving skills because of the practice I've given her in the mornings.
but what you're saying is, I'm just thinking, for me, like, I'm very, time is the only thing I'm good at. So I'm always on time, and I'm get frustrated like in 1 minute if anybody's late. You could see we started trying to start the show. I was going mad already
Yeah.
because of the show quality. I'm not bothered about ever. All the creatives don't even pay attention. But I'm always on time and I exit on time. So for me personally, I really have trouble working with people who aren't. So like even with girls dating them and all, anyone who's late, I've left people. I've gone on a date and she's not come down, and there was no mobile phone. I've just driven off. And I'm talking about 6 minutes late. I'm not talking about 1 hour late. Yeah, yeah, Jaggu, we couldn't have been lovers for
Not
many
at all.
reasons. Yeah.
Not
So,
at all.
so because I would, and this is early morning where your temper's at your worst in many ways because you've not, the day hasn't taken over. So all you got is that first project, and for you, that first project is also the most important part of the day. So I'm thinking I can see where she's coming from, waiting down with the car for El Fetilo, let's call him with love,
Yeah.
who's very nonchalant, and that body language is so irritating. Why do you guys
Yes.
get so calm?
Yes. Cyrus, I wanted to kill him. So the entire journey from Bandra to Tardev, which is where our studio was, we would be screaming at each other, and he would be very zen, like it's like, you know, take a chill, relax, be zen, and he would do it to irritate me. I think that's the chemistry. I'm always snapping, and he's
Wow.
always like, chill.
And then
It's
suddenly you
Listen,
reach this.
infuriating.
I want you to understand one thing. If she was annoyed at my lack of punctuality, I need you to what she said, right? That I'm grumpy, I'm not a morning person till the mic comes on. I'm dealing with that 16 years every morning. Like when she comes down and we sit in the car, I won't get a hello. I won't get WhatsApp. If I ask a question, the answer is something to the effect of, I mean,
Hmm.
it could literally be anything. What are we ordering for lunch after the show? I mean,
Jagu,
who's eating?
after six, after nearly 18 years, you should understand and be able to interpret my grunts
Oops,
and
ouch.
So
the
that's the
Hey,
and
other
the
thing.
if someone's just
and the
tuned in,
eyebrow
that's very
raises.
scary.
Cyrus,
Rewind, rewind. No, 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 no. There has to be context. Come on. Yeah, that's scary.
Uh,
But that's amazing. So let's understand the personalities here. So Jaggu is like that only, and he remains in a happy-go-lucky frame of mind even when the mic is on and before, late, early, jo bhi hai. But for Tarana, it's totally different. She actually switches. Like a switch goes off, and then a switch goes on when the mic comes on, and you're friendly and full of life and happy to talk to 200,000 people on the radio.
I like people, not that early in the morning,
God, you sound like Kunal. I'm
and
getting
not
very
in
worried.
person, and
Yeah.
not in person. Like on the radio, it's okay. Like you're looking at me and all like good morning. Like I mean, I've done a
Yeah. But Indians are
So,
too familiar. You're right. We have this familiarity problem also. Either we're too shy or too familiar. No one's normal. You're right. Early morning in the lift at 7 o'clock. Why does someone have to ask you questions? I mean, there's no
yeah,
time to have questions. Like, how
correct.
is daddy? Pet kaisa hai? Stupid questions also, for which you have to, what kind of answers are there?
Yeah,
Uh,
that,
I don't know.
that's that's why a variety of
Hmm.
Hmm,
God,
that
thank God,
yeah
thank God it
works.
was Jaggu to cool you down, because you and I would have driven ourselves mad.
No, why
Both
we would be on
saying
time, yeah,
to
Cyrus.
be on
But
time,
we
but we
would
want to
have,
go faster. In
but we
any
would have
case,
driven each other mad for sure. Yeah,
we
yeah.
would
No,
have,
it's
we
it's
would
a
have.
very
Yeah,
type A, type B personality blend. I don't think it would have worked if we were both,
yeah, yeah.
similar
We're
in
joking
nature.
about this, but it's.
Your conversations in the morning would have been lovely. Yeah. Ah. 30
And the
minutes of
odd
that. Well done. I want to see
Jaggu,
that happen.
Jaggu, she's a lady. It won't take long for me to get a slap. Don't worry, it's just a matter of time. You don't have to wait 18 years. Yeah. But here's the fantastic part. You guys have been so fabulous together for so long, and perhaps 2 or 3 generations have passed through listening to you growing up, etc. Of course, you have no idea when you're doing that you're going to become this iconic couple, that you stand out in radio from everybody else because it's this pairing. It's a boy girl thing, as well as the fact that, I don't know, how do we explain why some people are loved by the audience? I mean, no one can explain it. It's an intangible product at the end of the day. So it's just the way it is. But I think what I thought, as a listener, and because we were also somewhat in the same business, is that you guys are just really real. In that sense, you're a little ahead of your time. I mean, Jaggu just speaks like he normally speaks. There's no put on at all. And we've just seen Tarana now, let's it all hang out. She's not going to, hold back. So I think that was maybe that you were the first generation to do that. Now, of course, people are doing that more and more. The stand-up comedians, like the monkey next to you in the studio, Silvery. All these guys, they're slightly closer to reality than, say, my generation was. We were still elocuting. We were still talking to people in a slightly up way. You know, you would lecture about the song that you're presenting and all that. But your style. So my question in this long, winded 2.5 hour question ends with just simply this: did you know what you were doing, in the sense that let's just be the guy that I am and the girl that I am and nothing more, which actually is the secret. If at
But
least it looks like it.
but that is what radio is, right? You keep it real because I mean your naked voice actually gives away a lot. People form an image of who you are, what you stand for, and it is really as real. Like I no, which is why, and Cyrus, you're also extremely real. In anything you do, we used to listen to you, and you would sound real. I think our generation kept it real
Uh,
because that.
Except my pecs, huh? My pecs aren't real.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
s- Dr. Dasgupta, lovely guy. Jaggu, I'll send you the number. Huh. Huh. Special discount, but you have to be
You
on
send me
time, huh?
what?
Nothing,
The
Baba.
number
He's
How
of
did
meant
that
to
his
work?
understand.
pecs, Doctor Jaggu.
Yeah.
If
Ah,
He's hurt
there's
specs.
money involved, something I'm happy to do this.
We have to pay the money, Baba. We have to borrow the money, not take the money. This is,
What? We're paying who? Gym instructor.
we'll
Aryan,
tell you. It's much more than a gym instructor, the cost of
Everybody
company.
act again. I
This, this is
hear you all.
That's great.
oh,
The best interviews are when no one can hear what we're saying. We'll just carry on without
also
Jaggu, ladies
Jaggu,
and
Jaggu,
gentlemen.
you're being a terrible brand ambassador for the internet speeds in Dubai,
Yeah,
which is supposed to be like like futuristic India,
top of the line,
and
absolutely.
what is his behavior?
I don't know if it is an internet speed. It could be multiple things. With me, I'm techno spaz. For all
Yeah.
I know, I'm talking loud enough that you
I
can
figured
hear
it
me. But
out.
you're not even
I figured it out. Can I tell you what happened? It's
Huh.
only about 8:30 while we're recording this, 8:30, 8:40 in Dubai. It's too early. Tarana, he's just screwing with our minds. He's not up. He's not awake. He's like a zombie and he's just playing around with us. Everything's working fine. The Wi-Fi is great. You can see from his smile, but he's just playing around because he's irritated that we dare wake the lion and poke the bear at whatever 8:30, 8:40 in the Gulf. So I apologize
Yeah,
because everybody in the show has
it's
this horrible timing.
this.
Yeah.
And the boy went
And my
partying
very
last night.
recent.
The boy went
Of
partying
course,
last night. Kal
and
kya tha?
I did.
Oh, right.
कल
It's
No,
the
कुछ नहीं
Gulf
था.
weekend. The Gulf
Thursday.
weekend.
नहीं. Weekend has
no,
become
it's not
Saturday,
the
Sunday
weekend.
only now.
Oh, right.
Cyrus, if this interview was happening last year, where the weekend was actually Friday, Saturday, as of Jan of this year has changed to Saturday, Sunday.
Well, that's
But if it
confusing.
was happening last year, I would have been logging on at 8:50 my morning on the weekend, which would have been a tragedy.
Wow. So let me just understand. So at the moment, what time do you normally wake up?
8:30.
Rubbish. कुछ
Oh,
भी 8:30.
eight,
No.
eight,
On a day when I don't have a show
Jaggu,
at
don't lie to
8:30.
everybody.
No, on a day that I don't have a show 8:30. If I have a show 5 in the morning. Sorry, okay,
one
sir,
second. It's
continue.
very. We would let you don't fast forward. I want to go slowly. Let's go
No,
back in
Cyrus,
time.
you have to ask
Yeah.
him what time does he wake up from his afternoon nap and how long the afternoon naps last.
Okay. I repeat the question.
Three and a
How long
half
does the
hours.
afternoon? 3.5 hour afternoon nap siesta,
Yeah. Yes.
bro. You're very rich, no? Obviously, and not just the radio. What kind of life is this? Even politicians sleep less than this. What is going on?
No. Listen. So when we do the show and you're waking up at 5 and you don't have, well, by you, I mean, I don't have the discipline to sleep at a 10 o'clock and I'm sleeping at 12, 12:31. I've slept for like 5 hours. Okay. Maybe 4 hours. So at some point in the middle of the week, all of that has caught up with me. So when we come back from the show, there's good. And this doesn't happen every day. Okay. It happens maybe once a week, twice a week, where I will, like, there's a systemic crash. So one knocks off at like some 3 o'clock and you wake up at 7:30 and ask for chai. What to tell you?
Anyway, if you have trouble sleeping, just listen to our shows. We have a bank of shows. You put you to sleep immediately. You just choose from our wide collection on IVM. Great sleep matter. Recommended to everybody. But let's talk a little bit about the spicy beginnings and all that. So, what were tell us some incidents? Tell us some things that happened. Tell us things you liked and not liked about each other. It can reveal things that you haven't revealed to each other. That would be even better. Because after 18 years, I'm wondering how much do you not know. I mean, is that a question?
No, unfortunately, he's turned into my girlfriend number one.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
He's gone for the
it's
convenient I can't hear since
no,
you've
no, no,
changed
that
his
that is
gender.
happening.
Yeah.
No, there are literally no secrets. There can't be. Also, we have decided that if either one of us screws the other one over, then we don't know anything about human nature, and or everything that we believe in and stand for is wrong. So we have that much faith in each other. I think the chemistry works because we have full trust and full faith in each other. That like, ये तो Jaggu hai, and it's like this is Tarana. So it helps us not have like ego issues. We can fight. We've screamed at each other desperately. I broke a pair of headphones.
Ooh.
Uh, yeah.
You seem the more violent one for sure, even in this interview. This guy
No,
hasn't
shut up,
moved.
Yeah.
shut up.
Yes.
He is the bear. He's that affable bear, but don't poke the bear.
Yeah. Oh, so he's got a
And I
bad
and
temper?
and I do like this, like this, like this, like this every day. Then he blows.
Ooh. Wow.
So in for some reason in Dubai it got better. But when we were doing shows in Bombay, it was almost like once every 3 months, I would lose my shit. I I'm blowing up for no good, some minor detail like pen has moved from left to right, some nonsense like that. Why? But it's a collection of and then I lose it. The point is Tara knows where that's coming from. So
She backs
she's
off.
taking offense and taking off or whatever it is. She knows what I'm doing. I'm blowing off steam, and that's that. And that's the thing, right? When you spend that much time together, there's very few secrets, and we know each other's passwords. We've discussed like she's the one I will bounce off relationship thoughts to. I've seen her through assault relationships. It's just there's after all this, there's not much to hide.
Okay, which brings us to the big question, the elephant that's running around the room at the moment, and which we were discussing the show, the boys at IVM yesterday, and we were discussing this, and everybody asked the same question. So I have to ask you, slightly awkward, but so there was never any relationship. Although it sounds like, I mean, you sound like a married couple, and when you listen to your shows over the years, I mean, it's so difficult to believe that you guys aren't like a couple in reality as well.
Whenever we are asked,
So
are you two a couple? My instant reaction is ew, and Jaggu's is
But
like,
that's
really,
what
she
my
wouldn't
wife
do
would
that.
say. But that's what a
huh?
real couple,
Just
the
say
wife would say
no, da.
that. That's a real reaction of a couple.
Jaggu saying, just say no. Why do you have to say ew?
Yeah, what? And she actually does. I'm sitting right there. Aren't you two in a relationship? Aren't you all a couple? Aren't you all married? And she goes, eh. Nah, bhaiya. Why does it have to be a sound of disgust? I do this very politely. We to this day get asked that question, even though it's been established over and over again, privately, publicly, on air, and this that we're not a couple. If somebody asks because they don't, and I swear, Cyrus, conversation has happened. Literally two. The last time I was asked was 2 weeks back. He said, "Listen, I'm sorry to be asking this. Aren't y'all a couple? Don't y'all live together?" Because he was trying to understand. She's in Bombay right now, and I'm in Dubai right now. You didn't really know. Aren't you a couple? Aren't you living together? And it's a very polite. No, a lot of people assume that, but frankly, it's not, and you laugh it off. So, yeah.
But fair
It's
enough.
Yeah, but it's
Jaggu, it makes
hardest
more
on our
sense if she
respective
makes a
partners,
face.
Cyrus.
Yeah. Sorry? Yeah,
Because it's
exactly.
very
I
hard.
didn't.
Because
Uh,
if I'm out with a man, inevitably people are like, "Is that Jaggu? Hi, are you Jaggu?" And then
oh,
the
right.
person, yeah,
Because
and
they
the
don't know the
person
face.
says,
Yeah.
the person says no, and then they make a face. Oh,
Oh, Jaggu,
yeah,
look at the karma. That one insult you had to listen to, for which every boy who's been with her for 20 years had to take a beating in public. So you've got the
correct.
karma reverse
Yeah.
completely. Yeah. But let's. So you
But
then.
to explain this, there's a closeness of relationship, but it doesn't come from the couple. I'm saying we're more like siblings. If I had to describe it in a
Yeah.
word, we're more like siblings.
Yeah, she calls you girlfriend. So I mean, the perspective is similar, but well, siblings it could be both sisters, whatever. Fair enough. But I guess after some time, you just reach a point where it's just beyond couples. You're actually better than couples in that sense because you're like you said. The interesting thing is that she knows when to back off, even though you don't get angry too often. She knows you so well that she can read the book, properly, and at any point have the right reaction. And that, if couples did that, they would never fight, for example, because the two of you can understand that. And obviously, that comes from the fact that let's face it, you do spend more time than couples. I'm trying to think how much time do I spend with my wife over the years. You spend 4 hours every single day, more than that. There's pre and post, there's a drive involved, there's calling before that. So we're looking at about 6 hours of intense coupleship every single day. How many couples get that? How many couples could live through 6 bloody hours of being together every day? So I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Please, people listening, do not try and sit together for 6 hours. It's probably a disaster, but these guys have pulled it off in some way. So then this progressed, it became bigger and bigger. And then why the jump to Dubai? I sort of didn't remember what exactly happened. Why did you switch to Dubai?
We got headhunted, and it was quite
Okay.
like shocking for us. And Jaggu and I had stopped doing radio together in 2009, and we'd given up on the medium, saying up to like chodo, because when we're asked not to be real, then we'd rather not do the show.
Oh, they started telling you what to do.
A little bit. And you will only say this, and you will only say this, and we're like, ye humse na ho paega. So chodo. So we don't like to do radio without each other, because the point is, it's great fun together. If we are alone,
Yeah.
then it's like work. Yeah, who wants to work?
It's too
And
strong a dynamic. It's just too strong a dynamic. I can't, for people who have weaned on you and listen to you for some years, or they go berserk if you were to separate. I can
yeah,
see that. I can see that happening. And
yeah,
it's like a curse also, because if you ever wanted to grow away apart, it's probably difficult. But on the other hand, look, I think you spend your whole life trying to find a person you can gel with, and most people fail. That's why I have dogs. Kunal, my friend, has plants. But you guys have actually found someone who, and like he said, through breakups, romances, deaths in families, disasters around the world, pandemic, all this crap, you guys have still hung together, and the chemistry is still there on a daily basis. Anyway, so you got headhunted, went to Dubai, made lots of money. Jaggu became a real estate mogul. He owns part of Abu Dhabi and a little bit of Sharjah as well. Okay, so where are we now?
where are we now, Jaggu?
So, okay. Here's the thing. The media cycles in Dubai are oddly far shorter than what we experienced in India. So, from the time that we started radio, we've always seen like a 7-8 year cycle. Most of those years were good, and then a couple of years, like it collapsed, income is gone, you don't have a show, this and the other. So, we've seen that over the years, let's say 7 year cycles. In Dubai, the cycles are far shorter and far sharper. I think we're done with that experience, because as you grow older, you're also looking for stability. In your 20s, you're like, "Arey, it's party, how does it matter what pace? You're having such a good time. Why are you even being paid?" Now, the plot is Taran already in Bombay. I will get there at some point. And then we start pitching together and individually. Like Tarana's always had television projects. I've always done some finance business stuff in media. So, things like that. But ideally, the thing is to pitch together in media. So in the OTT space, in podcasting space, in the online space, and things like that. And if radio happens, it happens. We're happy to do it. That's where we from, and
But what happens to the name of the show? Because
that's
sorry, but what the name of the show will have to keep changing when you change, but not mediums, well, mediums as well. But when you go from one place to another, do you keep the name?
We try, because we've realized over the years that nobody ever really remembers the name of any show. We used to host Good Morning Mumbai.
No, but it's known as your name. Your names are the
वही.
show.
So
It's
we
the
realized that
Jaggu and
everybody
Tarana
remembers
show.
बोल कौन रहा है, हाँ वो जग्गू तराना को सुनते हैं, versus हम
Yeah.
Good Morning Mumbai with Jaggu and Tarana सुनते हैं. So after, I mean, learning this, as
Okay, now I'm
through
going
an
to just confess. I
experience.
used to listen to your show, especially while driving. I only knew it as the Jaggu and Tarana show. I have no idea about Good Morning Mumbai. You probably said it, but that's the way it is.
अरे there was full like song and dance routine and all around it.
I know. They probably went into the studio and they did a promo and they made the music and A.R. Rahman played it for you and all that, and we don't remember it. Yeah.
Correct.
Somebody
So
should
that,
tell these guys how they can save money. CTC. Oh, Himisha,
oh,
just before
how lovely
you carry on.
Hamisha is.
Yeah. I love listening to them to the extent I would listen from Singapore on one of those radio apps. They did shows from Dubai later. Yeah. That's amazing.
Hamisha, you're a rock star. Thank
sweet.
you.
Hamisha is not
How
the only
sweet is
one.
that?
You do know you have a huge fan following as well. Sorry. So we are now, you're in the process of coming back, and the same show, the name will be, well, it's irrelevant really, like I said, because you'll be known by your names as well. So when
Yeah.
can we expect the part 17 of the Jaggu and Tarana show to roll out?
As soon as somebody is able to afford two people for a show. Ajkal, all I think COVID has been used as an excuse, uh, or maybe it's ground reality because they're like, now ek show ke liye do log ko kyun le? You know, when I can get it done with one person, and if quality doesn't matter and banter doesn't matter, then we don't matter. So we're like, okay, we'll wait. We will continue to talk to each other
Yeah.
No, but it's a
100
So,
times a
USP,
so
day.
here's what
but
we're
that's
facing.
go on.
Sorry. No, I'm saying here's
Yeah.
what we're facing. There's something called COVID pricing, which is a discount. Like when everybody's salaries into like 20-30% lower, just COVID, and now hopefully all bounce back. So there's something called COVID pricing, and then there is something called taking advantage of COVID pricing. That COVID pricing will sort itself out over time. That taking advantage of COVID pricing is not sorting itself anytime soon. And everybody in media, especially ones that are being commissioned, is dealing with it.
All right. Don't worry. I have some excellent agents. We'll take care of this completely. We ask only for 35% and maybe two of your relatives for life. That's it. We'll figure it out. We've got to take a break. But before we do, please stay with us. We've got in the house before they not rebrand, but recharge out of the studio with another version of the Jaggu and Tarana show. They're here with us in 2022. Just remember this. So they were here on our show first, and then, of course, we'll see where they reach as they go back in the next avatar of the same show. And I hope it remains the same show. Please. If there's a third person in that show, I will shoot somebody. It cannot be Jaggu, Tarana, and Tony. I'll shoot Tony. Okay, just want to quickly tell everybody saving is the hardest thing I do as an adult. And this is true, guys. I have to save money, I have to save food, I have to save lives every day, one at a time. It's all damn hard, but thank God for the Jupiter digital banking app, hold for music, which has made saving money a tad easier. Their Money Pots feature helps you save money more efficiently. You can create a pot. Jaggu, please repeat after me. You can create a pot and set aside money to reach your
Create a
goals.
pot.
Goals. You can use the reverb. The reverb is great. And when you do meet them, this money can be withdrawn from pots anytime. Without any charges. If only saving lives was as easy as this. Nobody else is doing it. I look like an idiot. People are not joining in. Don't forget to
Well,
check out Jupiter.money, or you can download the Jupiter Money app on your Android or iOS phones to get started.
started.
Unfair. Nobody wants
Yes,
to play with me.
this is a very well timed. I'm going to need something like this literally next month when I come back. Something like Jupiter to get my fancies organized. So yes, well timed. Thank you very much for that.
You
I'll
need
assume
one Jupiter.
very especially for
Sir, you're right. One Jupiter will change your life. So let's go to a quick Jupiter money break. Stay with us when we come back on the other side. Silvery joins us, the man, the myth, the legend. Here's the break. That's it. I'm still lamenting the loss of my debit card. Now let's see how Jupiter would have been at resolving my lost debit card issue. If it's anything like my recent experience with the app, this is going to be a breeze. Here we go. Help made lightning fast. Can you believe that? This makes it literally the fastest help you can get. That's 24/7 in-app chat support on the app. Talk about banking at your convenience. See, I'll be honest, I lose my debit card all the time. It's just a thing I do every Tuesday, Thursday. I take out time for it. I have to. It would be so easy if I could just block my card with just a couple of taps if I needed to. They have a digital intelligent assistant named Spaceman. Now, I also have a digital assistant named Spaceman, Antariksh Man, but he's just not that intelligent. So this one's a little better. Oh, hello, Spaceman. How are you, my dear fellow? Now, I just have to type in my problem to Spaceman here, like, how do I block my debit card? And Spaceman gives me possible solutions or the option to chat with an expert if I'd like to do that as well. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't be trying to hide your customer care personnel behind 10 layers of automated messages. What use is that? Jupiter now is just so sorted. Why can't banks be like Jupiter? Anyway, if you like this 24/7 in-app chat support, just download Jupiter on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Now I'll just have a quick personal word with Spaceman. Antariksh Man, not Spaceman. Other Spaceman. Antariksh.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On This Round is on me, Asha Zaveri and Karan Shah of Swati Snacks share their culinary journey with Gauri. On Shunya 1, Sheila Ditya asked Darshan Patija, CEO and co-founder of Vault, about his crypto journey. On Cyrus Says his cock and bull, Cyrus, Puneet, Nivedita, and Antariksh discuss a Madhya Pradesh man's complaint about consuming alcohol that had no kick. On Think Fast, Varun and Suchita discuss Windgreen's latest acquisition and influencers turning into podcasters. And on the Musafir story, Saif and Faiza meet travel couple Ranjani and Raghavan, who take us to Rajasthan's quaint little town of Bundi. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, we've been doing a series of profiles of people within the office, so do check that out for sure. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platforms you're listening on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. We have a page on our website, ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, with a list of all our channels. We're also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you, the listener, responds to the advertising on our network. And also, we just want to know a little bit more about you. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It will really help us build some better shows for you. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, SBI Life Insurance and Jupiter, a digital banking app.
Longest break in the history of podcasts. 7 minutes.
Yes, that was quite long.
I took a sleep break. Jaggu would have fallen asleep for sure. I mean, it's just too long. Unbelievable. I apologize for that. But just quickly, the question we ask as Silvery joins us, is Rishi Kannan the greatest radio jockey the world has ever seen? According to him, he said yes. So I just wanted to double check.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Tarana.
Hi, Jaggu. Good morning. Hello, Tarana.
Good morning, Antariksh.
And
Good
no,
morning.
Jaggu Tarana are the greatest RJs.
No,
in
nobody is
Maharashtra.
greatest. Everybody is good.
Everybody is great.
Oh.
No.
No.
Everybody, right? Who's the greatest?
Jaggu
Huh?
Tarana. फिर से बोलो.
I don't know.
Jaggu Tarana. Say it. All right. So,
Yeah, again.
Jaggu, get
No,
those,
no.
this thing, na, the hearing aids.
No, but Tarana, he's just playing around. Don't you understand? This is
Time that I
technique.
got those.
No, he's half deaf in 1 year or something.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to
is
keep-
he half deaf?
Like if you see the audio trick test, whatever it is, it's a slope and all. tum bhera types.
No, 1 second. So then there's no chemistry between you all. When she gets angry, you just can't hear what she's saying. That's why they didn't fight. Oh, God, geez, you've been fooling us. The whole thing is a rip-off. Silvery, stop the show. Put the break back on. Let's have longer
Also,
breaks. Breaks are great.
Cyrus,
Huh.
quick fun fact. Our
Yes.
producer Vinay has worked with Jaggu before. This.
Oh, right.
And Tarana?
Only Jaggu.
With whom? With Rishi K. Oh,
Oh, with
ऐसे
Rishi
बोलना.
K. Acha.
what?
That's no, but we've also
Okay.
worked with Rishi K. So then, by osmosis, Jaggu, we have worked with Vinay.
Yeah.
No,
Wow,
I just
what
want
a
to
small
know
world.
why
Yeah, you
Vinay
do.
would put out his name as working with Rishi K, who's not part of this show. This show is about Jaggu and Tarana, who are coming
Yeah, he
back
said
to
I've
India.
worked with
to do their
him,
journey.
and I thought he
Why are
said
we giving
he
Rishi K
went
so much
Jaggu.
privilege? What's going on? Vinay should be flogged and flogged publicly. The break has to be shortened. His pants must be removed, and you must whip him delicately first. And then if he enjoys it, increase the tempo. All right.
Yeah.
Rishi Kanetkar, the cricketer. Okay,
No,
Gary Pereira's in another
Rishish
world.
Kannan. Just to clarify, Rishikesh Kannan, and
Yeah.
of course he's also an old buddy of ours. Someone I'm still in touch with. We have jolly chats and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, he goes
Yeah.
by Rishi, but it's not Connect. It's
That's because
cool,
what
lovely
people
guy.
don't is he initially he was a rapper. He was a rapper. He was a very popular rapper in Chembur, and then it didn't go beyond that. So then he moved back to the DJ thing. But for a little while, he and Thanda Pani himself, Baba Sehgal, were the two big names. You guys won't remember; you were too young. They're even younger than me. Silvery, can you believe that? Someone younger
Sure.
than us.
Okay,
All right.
why is Antariksh silvery?
Oh, that's his real name. Antariksh is his pet.
No, it's not.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Because
Antariksh is my real name.
because spacecraft is usually silver, hence silvery.
No, that's
a
family
great,
calls him Silvery.
actually new explanation for this.
Yeah, it's great.
that
Now
we
he has
can
an
now use,
excuse.
yeah.
Have an
Because normally we
excuse.
just have to explain. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But no, it's like a long story of how my brother is Goldie and how
You really
Cyrus
have a
Says-
brother called Goldie?
I mean, his actual name is Anirudh, but
Everyone
his
calls
pet
him
name, yeah,
Goldie.
we're Punjabi, so we all have like
Yeah.
weird
Then
pet
you
names,
have
know?
you have to be
Yeah,
silvery.
it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And
You have
the
to.
dog is Tarana. The dog is Rajinder. They are Goldie and Silvery. It's
Of
just
course.
a typical Punjabi story, and how do we explain it? Yeah.
Yes, correct. So you guys also, Jaggu and Tarana, you guys did a podcast together as well called The Odd Couple with Jaggu and Tarana.
Yeah.
Is that still going? And what is that? What is the podcast about? If you could tell us.
So it was we did it for over 2 years, and it's we make the oddest couple. My aunt kind of named the show for us because like most people think you're a couple, but you all make a really odd couple,
You
and
are a couple.
we're an odd couple. We're
Yeah, so you're not a
constantly
conventional
together.
couple, but you're a couple. Yeah.
Yes. Also, really odd things catch our eye and interest us, and inevitably, what interests me is completely different from what interests Jaggu. So then, combined together, there is a huge collection of really odd stuff that catch our eye, and then we like to tell people about it. I mean, people seem to enjoy the odd take that we have on odd happenings in the world, because I mean, the world is seriously full of like gems.
In the old days, instead of odd, they would use the word queer. But now, if I say you're a queer couple, I don't know if people will take that, not understand what the point of that matter is. Because queer just means like peculiar or odd. But for some reason, now people have hijacked it to explain sexuality. And I want to just put it on record. As far as I know, Jaggu and Tarana, you all are not that way inclined. So
We are not
I
clear.
mean, this is the platform for you to be open and honest. Our audience doesn't judge. Having listened to us, there's nothing to judge. I mean, they just please be open and honest here. Say whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
another
Silvery.
question.
But let's get the AMAs a little more because I'm sure we'll have a lot of people who want to ask some
we have
questions.
we have quite a few, yes. But
Yeah, I
before
can
that, just
imagine.
We also have a
quickly,
very odd couple, Cyrus and Antariksh. That is true.
sure, yes.
And
Why are you
Cyrus
calling
and
him
Kunal.
Antariksh?
Cyrus
He's
and
been
Kunal
renamed.
also
Sorry,
very
Silvery,
much so,
Silvery,
yes.
Silvery.
In Bengali, we say Silbari. Otherwise, you can say Silvery, whichever you
Okay,
want.
cool.
Yeah, go on.
All right. I have another question about so you've interviewed a lot of like huge celebrities and actors as well. What has your experience been with like celebrity publicists and PR people? Have they been like told you कि इसके बारे में बात मत करना or talk particularly only about this one thing? Has that ever happened? Or any weird stories that you can tell us maybe about publicists saying कि don't talk about this?
But you realize that Jaggu, the publicists usually don't really tell us anything, and if anybody asks us what are you going to ask, we never give them questions because
Smart.
No, so
but we don't know.
try not to.
We don't. I mean, we do
It's
research
very
and then it's
rare that
conversation.
it's rare that somebody will ask for questions at once, and if you do that, generic questions can always be put. I think what publicists sometimes say, because it's their job, is that don't hear them. They don't put a restriction on what you can or cannot ask. They would very much like to stick to the topic, to the
Film or
movie, or to
something.
the event or whatever that is being promoted. So we nod our heads politely, and when we talk about whatever we like, and the guests are usually fine with it because it just makes for a better interview. Here, is very good, so co-star is very good, and okay, we take 5 minutes to do that, and then go round and round. We have a listener that we want to worry about. You want the listener to have a 360-degree experience. We don't want to like read brochures.
Am I the only one who's only gathering one or two words of each sentence that Jaggu says? Or is it all of us?
We get the
Okay.
gist. We got the
Yeah,
gist.
it's like talking to a 4-year-old now, when the 4-year-old is like and you don't want to displease them, so you're doing your best, But
Should I paraphrase or
Please,
translate?
please,
I've done it
please.
all my life.
Now, really, yeah.
What he said actually means this. But yeah, I mean, PP. So yes, in a nutshell, publicists will insist that we talk about the film or the show that the person has come to promote, but we think it's extremely boring. And the actor also gets bored of saying, is role ke liye maine itni preparation ki, and what was it like to work with this director? They don't want to hear those answer those questions repeatedly. So we try and do like maybe 1 minute of that entire 15-minute interview or 2 minutes about the film, beginning and end, and beach mein whatever else. Yeah. And the thing is, because we've been around for so many years, a lot of stars used to listen to us. So it's there's like we don't feel conscious around them, and they don't feel conscious, and they don't treat us like, oh, abhi koi interview lene aaya hai. It's like they're hanging in a room full of friends.
Yes, Cyrus.
Yeah, that's the advantage of seeing your show, listening to your show. So they already think they know you and they feel comfortable. But how many of them touch themselves or you in an inappropriate manner? Can you give me the list?
Only with Jaggu. It's only happened with Jaggu.
I mean, who can blame them?
Man, what?
Now
what a lovely line you missed, yeah, Jaggu.
Yeah.
Cyrus, you have to talk extremely loudly to Jaggu.
I heard inappropriate manner, and I heard Jaggu. So now I'm a little worried about what has happened.
It is somewhere there. The equation is correct. Now do what you want with it. Do your maths. It's somewhere there. You are right, sir. Well done. But in the meantime, let's try and squeeze those
Yes.
AMAs in.
Okay.
I'm
No. No.
sure.
Last.
Okay, quick.
Again for Jaggu and Tarana.
Hmm.
If Cyrus were to join your podcast, sorry, your show,
Hmm.
what role could he play on the show? Like, what could
The
we be?
break.
You think the correspondent of?
Yeah, he would give us a break, because if Cyrus is there, then two of us will be like, "Tu bol yaar," and then we'll do the reverb for him. Cyrus says.
Oh.
Can you imagine a 50-year-old
Yes.
man and they're doing reverb? Tell me. Oh
Yes.
my God, yeah. But
Alright.
we do it in a podcast. We have six. Yesterday we had 5 people in the room, and it was fun, a lot of energy. But I always
Yeah.
think it's difficult to pick up after some time because everyone's talking together like a bar. But these two, if you said, did you hear their show, or were you too young? No, you're not too young.
Yeah, I heard a little bit. I used to hear a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes,
Liar.
yes. I did
So they
absolutely. Yeah.
can
'Cause
get really
I
the
used to listen
banter
to
can get
radio a lot. Actually, back then.
yeah the banter can get really, like, I mean, right there. They're almost like screaming at it goes from like really low to really high in just the course of 5 minutes. Which But you pick up every word because there's two people talking. And you
Yeah.
put a third person in and you start losing the words sooner or later, especially if all three like to talk. Jaggu will revisit the show to see what all they spoke about him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jaggu, please,
Vinay.
Jaggu, check out the show on IVM podcast.
Poor Jaggu.
Okay.
All right.
Yep,
Can
what?
we take some AMAs? Brother Silvery.
Yeah, Cyrus, let's go. All right, the first AMA comes in from again Shoaib Bakshi only. He says, Cyrus, could you please share your craziest VJ story? Also, share the biggest scam of the century where Ranbir Kapoor said he's your fan and will call you to his marriage. He pulled the best bakra on you.
We never said that, but that was in the Red FM studio, their rival thing. So we were doing some recording, and he was in for promoting some film, and they said just come and say hello. So I went to say hello to Ranbir Kapoor, and he used the word ledge. It made me feel really embarrassed. He said all kinds of big words. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not, because nobody says nice things to me normally. The watchman stops me at Red FM, generally speaking, so forget Ranbir Kapoor. And then he said things like, you're the ledge, man, and did all this. And so then suddenly they all started giving me respect the next day onwards in Red FM. Because until then they were like, Buddha kaun hai, Hindi mein bolte hai barabar. Who is this guy? And then suddenly, Ranbir Kapoor says all these things. But he didn't call me to the wedding. He just said nice things. Yeah. So what could I do? I was actually caught off guard. Does that happen to you ever? When somebody's really praising you in public, you don't have any idea that was going to happen. I'm sure that's a little more difficult to deal with than when they're slightly abusive or mean-spirited. I think at least I'm more prepared for that. The heckler, the smart aleck, the tongue-in-cheek remark. So these things really, because you don't want to sound ungracious, but you have nothing. Because you can't believe what they're saying is true. It just sounds wrong. Yeah.
I'll tell you what psychs me by when you meet the listeners and you meet the fact that when they're like, oh my God, you're so humble for a celebrity, and I'm like, I'm not a celebrity, please. And the constant argument is, no, y'all are celebrities, and we're like, we are not celebrities. And we got massive like Cyrus, you're a celebrity. You're like, no, nobody normal will ever say, yeah, I'm a celebrity.
Okay, I'll stop. You convinced me. Okay, one sec. Vinay is saying I've worked with Jaggu now. I'm a little confused. He sent a message on the chat.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what I thought also he meant, but
No.
no, him means
He's-
Rishike.
He still means somebody else.
Him means
What is
Rishike.
wrong with Vinay?
Yeah.
What is the point of telling us he worked with? It's like me telling them that I shot with Siddharth Kannan or something. I mean, there's no point to that. There's no
Yeah,
connection.
he has worked with Siddharth Kanan also, just saying.
Oh, gee. I think we have to look at whatever medication
And we've hung
Vinay
out
is
lots
taking.
with Kunal, Cyrus, just, while
Yeah,
we're
Kunal's
swapping.
birthday yesterday is 68 years
Ah,
old.
Yeah.
I know.
Tarana, 68.
60,
He
no,
doesn't
no,
look a
58,
day
58.
above 58.
No, waist downwards, he's 78. How do I know is another story.
Yeah.
All right.
AMA
Next
Baba,
one-
10 minute
Yes,
में
yes.
जाना पड़ेगा.
Back to the
Next one comes in from.
celebrity.
Jaggu's talking. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I just want to go back to celebrity question. Tarana is deeply humble when she meets a listener or viewer or whatever it is. But the person who is meeting her is invariably gaga about having met Tarana. Now, mind you, Tarana not only on radio but also a television star as well as a movie star.
Yep.
So she gets recognized. And I walked out in malls. I have now become, aside from co-host, also become personal photographer. Now nobody everybody thank you. So I'm literally I will take the photograph. At the point where I don't he asked, I said, "Aapka photo mein photo nikhta." I mean, we get into the headache of being politely asked and things like that. Hey, you don't want
Hey,
you in the
Jaggu,
frame. You want Tarana.
Jaggu,
I'm like, oh no.
Jaggu.
Cut.
What'll be really funny is if they go to and say, Tarana, Jaggu Tarana show ka. Wow. And then call you and say, boss, take photo. Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super.
Right.
All right.
Next one comes in from Radhe Charwak. Is this a very nice comment? He said, or she says, first VJ for me is Tarana. When she used to present 5 songs countdown in Subeh Savere, a morning show on DD. Tarana, love you,
Wow.
love you.
Oh,
Please pass this message.
thank you, Radhe. But I don't think I hosted Subha Savere because
Oh.
Subha Savere, I used to be on radio. But I used to do DD Top 10 and I used to do Chitrahar on
But she could have made a
Doordarshan.
mistake with you and the show.
Correct.
She made a
Yeah,
mistake with the
that's what it is.
name. That's
Yeah.
allowed because Alzheimer's,
That
let
is
me tell
fully
you,
allowed.
dementia is part of that, and we all have
No, but
that
I was
problem.
also thinking, damn, did I do
called
it?
you the wrong name without knowing I've done it, and I'm doing it all the time with everybody now. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
not over point
Yeah,
fingers.
it's Antariksh,
Yeah.
Cyrus. It's Antariksh.
It's Funkterish.
No,
All right. Rohit Atre has another cool comment. He says, Jaggu and Tarana made studying for MBBS exams fun. This is
oh.
again so cool.
Rohit, how cool are you? No, you know, as
Glad
a
we have that.
I'm very, very studious, or at least I was when I was in school and college. And I used to listen to music and study. And I've always maintained that you can do like maths and physics and chemistry along with music. And nobody seems to have supported me. But if he used to study and do it along with us and all, then yay. Rohit, thank you.
Yeah. He also has another question though. He says,
I can't even make love with music. I get so distracted. It all depends on your mindset.
But the
You
kind
know,
of
the
music you're
rhythm
listening to,
throws
na,
you
you
off, Cyrus. Huh? Is it?
I'm old fashioned. I listen to music which has lyrics that you can hear. So it's a little different. Don't start me off. We didn't
just
have time to
try.
ask
I
you,
think
but
try EDM, it'll work for you.
no, Baba, I can't. After 1971, when Bangladesh was formed, I lost interest in globalization completely. I cannot take anything more. Yeah. Now he can't hear me. Can we abuse Jaggu for 5 minutes? Just do a sound
Anna?
check. Jaggu, you bastard! Jaggu, you
No,
bastard!
I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. It's even EDM has a thumping beat.
Give us the beat. I think he's just come back from the
Moving on
disco.
quickly.
Yeah.
Moving on quickly, acha. Huh?
Okay.
All right. Rohit Atre has another question. He says, JNT,
Huh.
do your favorite songs reflect the difference in your personalities as well? Also, could you make Cyrus introduce his show in your style? So, what are your favorite songs? And let's see what they say about your personalities.
I to listen to everything.
I like the JNT. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
JNT.
JNT.
Yeah. It's
That could be
like
the name of your new show. Rohit can get you can give him a little finder's fee. The new show when you relaunch, what's wrong with JNT? Well, anyway, they'll say Jaggu and Tarana, but you can just call it the JNT show. I think that's
we
super
could.
catchy.
We could.
Yeah.
Done.
We could.
We
We sign off
History in the
emails.
making.
We
Yes,
do
I'm
sign
putting
off
it down.
emails saying JNT.
And poor Rohit Atre, we've stolen it from him. Screw you, Rohit. How dare you pass it on to us? There's no copyright infringement. It's now ours. Huh? Yeah, here you go. Done.
But, guys, do your
Very nice.
favorite songs reflect the difference in your personalities as well?
I tend to listen to
I
a
don't
lot of different
so.
music. Jaggu loves Sean
Yeah.
Paul, by the way. Shake that thing. Miss.
Yeah.
Can You make him
Yeah.
dance to it. He
shake.
loves it.
Now you can
That
hear whenever
comes on, it's like an automatic head bob
Yeah.
situation. No, we both us have very taste in music, and actually, I can't even say this genre is my favorite, whatever it is. It's
Ooh, Jaggu also
all the things we do
pretends to
radios.
like Indian classical music
What do you mean pretends to like?
because
no,
he
no,
has
no, no,
dragged
no.
me. Shut up. He dragged me to, so in Dubai. No, so classical music. I like classic, and he dragged me to the opera because the opera house had just launched, and it's like beautiful building, and this. I thought I was going to see an opera, which meant there would be
Western
acting
classical.
and
Yeah.
singing and all of that, but it was just like apparently legends playing just instrumental music, and it was very pakao for me. But I'm still like,
But that's
no, I must
classical music, Western classical.
soak in this culture, and he was listening like this. So
One
I'm
of-
like,
one of the
I'm like,
trainers,
Jaggu,
I
you
think-
fell
I think it was
asleep, and he said,
Domingo.
no, I'm concentrating.
Huh? It was Domingo. What are you saying?
Yeah,
I
was
think it took
Domingo.
Domingo was calm, and she like, what is this
Yeah,
nonsense?
you took her to see Placido Domingo perform, and she was not impressed.
Yes.
No, I was
I can't do
watching,
the
but
show.
Jaggu was
I can't do the
asleep.
show.
Jaggu was
Jaggu was
asleep.
asleep.
I watched,
And you
and I
fell
was
asleep
like,
on
very nice.
Domingo.
According
You
to him,
Sean
he was
Paul
not asleep.
mother.
I
That's
want you to
ridiculous.
now imagine Placido Domingo singing on. I want you to visualize that for a minute. And what a beautiful
My
thing it
God.
would be.
And
It's
Indian
very.
classical
You,
music also he pretends he likes and goes very often for all these concerts.
no, but now Jaggu cannot enter a Parsi household again. He is Badnaam Domingo himself. This is very. I don't know how to bring this back. I'll try and use friends. We'll talk to people. I'll do what I can, but I don't know, brother, if you can come back from this one. This is huge. Now, Indian classical you don't like either, but you pretend to, or that's a different story.
Has he
No,
frozen?
no, I
Nope.
enjoy Indian classical too. I can't say I understand it very well. In all honesty, I can go into that. I don't know that the whole rag system. I don't get it. I just enjoy the sound of it. So when I go there and I listen to it, I'm quite pleased. Yeah. Also, it is far more advanced in that system, as it
But
were. That
can you do some like
she's
Karnat?
also
Can you do some
I'm happy
Carnatic?
to come here.
Can you do
Jaggu,
some Carnatic
he
vocalizing?
does it
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah, yeah,
nicely. He
yeah.
does. He does
Let's hear
Hindustani very well.
your alaps or whatever.
You want me to sing?
Hindustani classical. If you can just give us a little taste, because apparently you have a little talent with
Uh,
someone.
Many
Wow.
greats
And
now
now,
turned in their graves and come back onto me.
no, Jaggu, now
This will
besides
happen.
me, everybody knows
No,
what
no,
you sound like when you gargle.
this was Bhimsen Domingo. This was a mix. This was a myriad of different voices. This is fabulous talent. This is very different. I, we got to save this for another day completely. This
Yeah.
show.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Grim
Can we?
Fandango. Grim Fandango has asked TNJ, do you guys speak Arabic now?
Are no, Jaggu's Arabic is on point. He knows one line very nicely and he can do it in many, many different styles.
Go on. Let's hear
Jaggu,
it.
come on.
Jaggu.
So there's
Jaggu.
Ababu Tughlaq, which is the doors are closing. Now, when we first, this is what happens in the Dubai.
Oh,
So you'd walk in. I
oh,
think it's
You know,
Jesus.
the doors are closing and Ababu Tufta, the doors are opening, something like that. Now,
Eh.
I remember hearing and I'm like,
Silvery.
don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do? So then we realized it's a lovely phrase that it can be said in so many ways with such emotion that it just works. You remember that Osho thing where he used the word F dot dot can be used to express so many things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Similar situation, I can get angry. "Allah bahut ho gaya." It can be romantic. "Allah bahut." It
Hmm.
can be query. "Allah bahut ho gaya." It can be many things. And we've this on radio over and over again. I think at some point, Rana, we came up with like 10, 15 things we could do. So
Only
yeah,
you.
we
So,
just
Jaggu, in 9 years
yeah,
in Dubai, he has
we've
learned
run with
doors are
it.
closing. Al
He-
abwabu
what I like
tuglak.
is
Yeah.
what I like is how he tried to drag Tarana into it. Like, it's our thing. He said
No,
so clearly it's not our thing. You're
no,
a
no.
moron. You know one line and you're comparing it to the famous Rajni speech on the word FUCK, which is like ridiculous, honestly. Wow, that's great. But just this is the only line you speak after so many years there.
And we know Shukran and we know Mabruk.
So I think we'll pick that up on the plane. I mean, really, guys?
And Hubby and Hapti.
Wow.
Habibi and
Maybe his
yeah.
friend, yes.
Welcome
Habibi.
back. Welcome back.
Yes.
There's no question. You need to
Are
come back.
so many years in Bombay and Marathi is still like bakwas for me.
But
Maybe
that's a
we're just
political
not good at
stand. You've taken a
languages.
Tarana, you've
I'm
taken
not
a
taking a
political
political
stand.
stand. Chal, chal.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I understand. This divide is going on between South and North at the moment, Hindi versus non-Hindi and all that. You decided to say, look, I don't want to be forced to speak this other language, and I respect that. Silvery
Yes.
was given a chalan in Marathi, and he went berserk.
Yeah,
He was like, boss, ye kya hai?
yeah, that actually happened. Yes, it is actually true. They gave me a
Oh,
chalan, and the paper was all Marathi.
Yeah.
And I couldn't read it, and I asked him, and it was very faded. Like they didn't
Oh,
want me to read it probably because they were scamming me. I got scammed by cops. It's a long story.
Uh,
We've shared it
this
earlier.
country is great because you can switch languages and screw. Someone will get screwed. All you got to do
yeah,
is keep trying.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
fantastic. All right, let's squeeze one more in
Okay.
fast, guys. I have
This
to go
last
to
one
the
comes in
doctor
from
and get
Karan
my.
Sethi. Yeah, Karan Sethi asks, as radio hosts, they would frequently have to interview. As radio hosts, they
Which
would
person?
frequently interview. Which persons did they enjoy interviewing, and who was a tough interview other than A.R. Rahman?
Were there bad interviews that you recall? Bad as in not flowing? No, I suppose there was no one really mean or something, but there are dull guests.
Yeah, there are some.
Yeah.
But I mean, uh, it helps that we know how to fill in the gaps and
Yeah.
coax sort
Or
of
you just ignore
answers.
them and talk amongst yourselves. Yeah.
That is also there. I mean, that's our default plan.
Who's more
Yeah.
rude, but is one of you more rude, like more aggressive? with guests who are not forthcoming?
We had, we
Yep.
had Shaggy once come into the studio, and he was and he landed and he was listening to us on the way to the studio. I didn't realize that he was going to be doing his due diligence, and he came in and he said, you don't look as scary as you sound.
But you speak primarily in Hindi. What would you have picked up?
Those days we used to talk in English. That's why Shaggy was coming.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. But how was that?
So-
How was the interview with Shaggy?
But he must have been
Good
good.
fun. Good fun. He was damn good.
Yeah,
it was
Mr. Lava Lava.
And
Can I
Cyrus,
tell you-
Oh, this is during the time of
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Yeah,
He
like
came MTV. We brought him down, if I remember correctly. He
maybe,
performed.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
And-
big. Silvery was very big in all
Yeah,
the
he was
party
very big.
circuit. All the
That
rich
one
people
song was
hired him to
super
sing.
famous.
Yeah.
Arey,
Oh,
all his
Carol
songs
and
Oh
are
no,
Carol
so sorry, I'm
and-
thinking of someone else. Sorry,
We are nice.
Shaggy's Shaggy.
Mr. Lava
Oh
Lava.
God,
Yeah, Hey Sexy Lady.
he's
and,
talking about Usher, I think.
Yeah, I was saying Usher. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he's
made it-
doing.
is that a
Yeah,
racist
yeah. I
comment that
love
you made?
Shaggy.
Yeah, Shaggy
Should
is
you be removed from the
Sexy
panel?
Lady and
Should we go
other
there,
one.
guys? Should we go there with
Angel.
that thinking, or we let it drop? We'll let it
Bi-
drop.
Let it go.
Bichara Silvery is now like making up by giving us all Shaggy
Overcompensating.
songs.
I know
Give us
Shaggy.
five.
I know
for his,
Shaggy.
He
Yes,
gave
for
yes.
his
us five.
politically
Give us five
incorrect
songs.
comment.
Yeah.
Silvery, you're fired.
Red-handed is a good song.
You go straight into the break. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Listen, guys, sorry, but I've got to go to the proctologist for this problem I have. Hopefully he'll take care of it today. He's old, but he's lovely. Beautiful hands, Jaggu. Beautiful hands. But just listen, what a great time we've had listening to you. And just want to salute you for all that you've done and what fantastic presence you've had on radio for such a long time with so many people. I think you should join politics. I feel you have a future. If you too, but you have to stand together with your own party. The JNT party, you got the party right.
JNT party.
And you can say yes or no to Marathi, that you decide, Tarana. I'm not going to interfere with your political manifesto. But I
Okay.
feel, Sylvie, will you back me on this? They will do well. They've got a
They'll
huge
be
following.
the best.
And they've got a huge
Yeah.
following across generations. Hemisha's mentioned back in Singapore in the day, etc., right up till now. So it's and across the Asian continent and beyond. So what do you say?
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll join their party.
Vote for JNT?
I'll leave the Brocha Janta party and join the JNT party.
No. You stay with me, Baba.
You stay with
Arey,
us.
we'll do a coalition.
Oh,
na?
we'll do
come
a
together.
coalition.
We have to.
Yes,
This
right.
country is
We all
gonna-
need to
gonna-
come together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, no pun intended.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. On this
Done.
wonderful note, we have to end. But thank you guys, Jaggu Tarana. They will be back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. They're going to come back big and better and bigger than ever before in hopefully very short time. So until then, it's bye-bye from us on this horrible show called Cyrus Says. Silvery will take us out with some Carnatic vocals. Silvery! Yeah. You get what you pay for, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, you don't read that.
Bye.
Sorry. You have to read something.
All right, don't
Thank
forget
you.
to download
Thank
the Jupiter
you so
Money
much.
app on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store as I say hello to Placido Domingo. Hello, Placido. Bye.